All right, good people. So we need to talk. 23 is back, and joining me today is, and correct me if I'm wrong, the founder, CEO of Blossoming Boss Ladies, Miss Bri. How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing good. How are you? And you absolutely correct. You got it right.
I was practicing in the mirror to make sure I didn't mess up. Um, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. We were trying to set this up, and little things happening here and there that cause us to have to push it back, but we're getting it done now. So,
Thank you for
so
having
my
me.
first question for you is, what is Blossoming Boss Ladies?
Blossom and Boss Ladies is a mentorship that I put together just from me being younger, wanting to have a job and not knowing exactly what to do when I actually get a job or what to do to get a job. Or I didn't even know what a resume was. I didn't know what an interview was. I'm just used to people saying, "Oh, you have pretty eyes, let me do this for you." Or, "Hey, you're such and such a sister. Let me do this for you." So I pretty much didn't know what to do when it was time for me to get a job. So now that I've grown up and became, years and years older, I'm looking back on that and I'm like, there's a lot of young women who don't have that role model, just like me. I had my mom and my grandmother who were amazing, but they were more so, get your hair cornrow, get your hair fixed, get you some Jordans. And it was more so the materialistic things. And it wasn't more so, what do you need to be successful when you grow up? So, just looking into the different neighborhoods in DC throughout Maryland, I see a lot of young women who don't have that role model growing up. So for me, I just was like, you can use what you know as an HR professional. I've been an HR professional for over 10 years. You can use what you know to kind of pour into these young women. So that's kind of where it started from, just seeing, young women who don't have the role model and just want to do better, but they don't know how to, set themselves up for better. So that's kind of where it all stemmed from. And I have my daughter and I have a stepdaughter who I'm like working with now, and they know what a resume is, they know how to go on an interview, they know the words to say, know what not to say. So they've been kind of my little test babies that's, kind of motivated me and pushed me to keep going.
So was it more something inside of you, or was it just something, things that you've seen being an HR professional? Was it, the candidates coming in for jobs, or was it, the resumes? What was it that pushed you or made you say, what, I want to help, and this is how I can help?
It was a mixture of all of that. Also, I just graduated from, finally got my bachelor's degree from Howard, and my
Congratulations.
major was African American Studies. And with that, we traveled to third world countries. And that's honestly where it all started because I wanted to start a program to help the women in third world countries because they don't have the things that we have, the things that we take for granted, like shoes. They don't have shoes that fit. They have shoes that they barely can put their toes in, but they're happy. They have clothes, but it's hand-me-down clothes, or they'll wear men's clothes, or they'll wear, anything that can cover their body. So that's ultimately where the whole idea came from. Me traveling to the different third world countries. Haiti is actually where I kind of got sat down and was like, you know what, you need to help. So once I, traveled my last time to Haiti and I seen a young lady that I've seen maybe 3 or 4 times that I've been, she came up to me, she's like, you keep coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't understand what she was saying. She's like, you keep coming back. I said, well, what do you mean? They don't speak really good English. So she was one of the ones that in Haitian villages, there's 2 children that they send to school to learn English. And they come back and they teach the whole village. So
Okay.
she was one of the ones that knew English and she was one of the ones that was teaching. So she came to me, she said, you keep coming back. Why? And I couldn't tell her why at that point. And, I'm just like, wow, you never even thought about why you keep coming back. So I honestly sat down and was able to think and just told her, I want to help. And just me saying I want to help her, she gave me the biggest hug ever. And she said, I believe you. At 11 years old, she said, I believe you. And ever since then, I keep in touch with her. I send her notes. They have WhatsApp. So I
Mm-hmm.
keep in touch with her through that way just to let her know that they're not forgotten. So once I got back home, I'm like, how many young women are here in DC or in the United States that just want someone to help them or just want someone that's going to keep coming back? So it's kind of a mixture of everything. Now I'm here.
No, that's really good. That's really good. Well, it's a little off topic. So what? So with the recent like earthquake and then a freaking hurricane right behind it, what is what has been your feelings, and have you been able to get in contact with with the young lady over there during this time?
It's been really rough, especially with their president being killed.
Hmm.
That's another thing that's kind of weighing really heavy on them. They're kind of stuck in their villages. Everyone's scared to go out. They're scared to, go to the markets and things of that nature. So what I've been doing with my professor, just kind of trying to collect different canned foods and um, the essentials that they need, razors, soap, food, anything that we can send clothes just to kind of be of assistance to them.
Hmm.
I'm not able to talk to her as much now. I mean, I'm guessing because of everything that's going on. But then when I do, get a little message from her, it's kind of a sigh of relief, like, okay, she's okay. Um, so I just try to do as much as I can by sending things over there, just little, what's small to us to them is major.
Yeah.
So anything that I can send to my kids, if they have two little clothes, I'll send it to them. Baby dolls that my daughters don't use, send
Hmm.
it off to them. And they're very appreciative. So
Is there, and I will ask, is there, well, how could people, donate to, I guess, to you or, your professor, however it's being done? How could
okay.
people donate, clothes and things? Because I've been watching a lot of things on Instagram, and a lot of people want to donate money. And the crazy thing, I heard somebody say, why are you donating money when, where they're going to spend it?
Right.
So it's just like,
Nine times out of 10, when you go out there with money, they have men in the village. So the villages that I've been in, you have
mhm,
the guys that go out and work. You have the women that stay home, and it's like a big family. All different types of families live in one village, and everyone takes care of everyone. The
okay,
men go out, make the money, and the women just stay home, cook, take care of the kids. So sending money, I mean, I really haven't sent money just because I know that it's going to go to the men. And I don't know whether, they're going, you have some men in the village that go out and they spend it on drugs and they spend it on, different things. So I always say the best thing to do is send clothes, send shoes. Those are the things that they need. Um, and you can reach out to me through either Instagram at Blossom and Boss Ladies, or you can email me at blossomingbossladies@gmail.com, and we can set some things up where you all can send different items, for them, and I can ship it over to them.
oh, yeah, definitely, definitely. I'll make sure I include that in the episode so that we can, because I'm sure I hope nobody gets on me for this, but I hate dropping off to Red Cross and these
Yeah,
damn donation boxes because they turn around and sell the clothes back to the people. I'm like, if I'm donating the clothes, it should go to the people for free.
exactly.
I don't
Yeah.
care if you're selling it for $1. It shouldn't be sold.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that do that, but when we go, when we travel, you know how you can have a certain amount of carry-on bags. What
Hmm.
we'll do is we'll put our clothes in like a duffel bag as a carry-on, and all of the bags that we can bring on a check, we
Hmm.
bring them on, but they're empty. I mean, not empty, but they're full of accessories, toiletries, clothes for them.
Okay.
That way, everything is getting shipped. Medicine. I've been to their pharmacies. They literally have nothing. So we take food, we take Tylenol, Benadryl, we take all types of, different medicines for them because their pharmacy is kind of like a corner store. It's a
Okay.
corner store. You have when you walk in, it's like the front desk. That's
Hmm.
the pharmacy where all the medicine is housed. And then there's three different rooms. One is the doctor's office, one is like a lab room, and then the other one is just the examination room. And that's pretty much their clinic. So when I seen that, it just made me realize that we take a lot of things for granted, and even the smallest things that we're throwing away because, we don't like the taste of it,
Hmm.
they would appreciate and they would really
So what? And we're gonna get back to talking about ultimate
need.
boss ladies, but I've been wanting to talk about what's going on in Haiti and stuff. So that I don't want to take up your time just talking about
Oh no,
just
it's fine. It's fine.
but what has been in your trips, over there and things like that? What has been the toughest thing for you in terms of taking medicine over there? Have there ever been any issues with taking certain things over there?
Not that I've experienced. When we do go, we have different groups that we work with, so they pretty much know my professor. So I usually go through my professor
Okay.
because he has his organization is called Sangha Sangha, so
Hmm.
they're known over there. So when we go, they'll know we're coming in the van, and when we pull up to the villages, they're like, "The Americans are here, the Americans!" And they get so excited, and they're like running up to the van, and they're like opening the doors, they're smiling, they know that we're coming to help them. So when we go, we pretty much I go through my professor who like again has his own organization, so I go through them, and I send everything that I'm sending through him so that we know that it gets to the right villages and people who need it.
Okay. All right. So now I'll get back to blossoming boss ladies. But thank you for that information. Um, but so in terms of blossoming boss ladies, what has been one of the challenges that you've had to deal with in starting up blossoming boss ladies?
Challenges, I would say you have some people or some young ladies who are interested,
Hmm.
but their parents don't have the faith in them.
Oh
And
wow.
that's been one of the biggest things that I've seen. I've seen so many young people see me and they're like, Bree, I want you to work with me. I look up to you. And I'm like, okay, sign up. And then they're like, well, my mom doesn't really think that I'm going to take it serious because I'm only 13 or I'm only 14. But what people fail to realize in DC and Maryland, I think you can start working at the age of 14 as long as you have a work permit.
Hmm.
So as long as you can go to your school and say, hey, I want to work, get a work permit, get it filled out, you can work. And you can start there. You can start, working at McDonald's, or you can work for your church, or you can start working then. But I think because in our minds, someone that's working isn't working until they're working for money
Hmm.
until what 18.
Yeah.
So I think because society has set up in our minds that you don't start working or legally working until you're 18, that a lot of parents think, well, I'm not wasting my gas, or I'm not wasting this to take you, to some little job that you only gonna get a certain amount of money for. So I think that's the biggest struggle for me is trying to convince the parents or some parents that, you have to put the faith in your child. We spend what, $60 on lunch in 2 days.
Yeah.
Whereas you can put that much faith in your child, you know how far they can go at a young age. So
Yeah.
that's my trying to convince the parents. A lot of them are supportive. And then once I talk to those parents who are kind of like, well, why am I wasting my time? She's only 13. Why am I wasting time taking her back and forth to letting her get on to Zoom for 2 days out of a week? Because at the end of the day, it's going to help them progress at a young age. When they get to the age of 21, they're going to be killing interviews. They're going to be writing resumes. They can start a business of correcting or writing resumes. So that's what I'm trying to get them to become entrepreneurs, not only teaching them how to enter into the working world, but to take over as
Mm.
young women. That's the goal, is to ultimately teach them how to get their foot in the door and then run with it, take over.
Yeah, and that's really what they need because, like I said, we bad enough our kids tend to start from behind anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can give them a leg up to help them, get their foot in the door and be on par with their, you hate to say competition, but with the competition, why not do it? Like you said, we're spending $60 in 2 days on lunch.
Yeah.
Take that and invest that in your child. Like I said, don't, I think a lot of the parents put their hangups on their kids. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, I couldn't or I didn't do this when I was her age. So I don't think that she can do it. And like I said, our kids are way, way ahead of where we were because of
Yes.
technology and everything.
And
So,
society too. I mean, just for me, I follow my nieces on Instagram and some of my friends' daughters, and some of the women that they praise, I'm like, you really got Black China up here, or you really got Ari as your role model, like. So I read, and I'm the aunt that's just like you. I'll come to them and say, why? Why do you look up to this person? Why do you look up to Ari? She's beautiful. I said, okay, let's look at a picture before,
Hmm.
before the society or before, famous artists. Pull up the picture and they're like, that's not her. That's definitely her. Well, what is she famous for? They can't tell me. They just know that she dated a rapper. So when I pull up other people, they're just kind of like, well, who is that? I'm like, you don't know who this person is? This person is a self made millionaire.
Hmm.
She did this by herself. She didn't have no rapper. She didn't have, what's the show that they watch? Love and Hip Hop to kind of boost her. They are in the young women, girls. At that age, I wasn't able to watch. What was it? The Box. I
Yeah.
wasn't able to watch The Box. I wasn't able to watch Martin. I wasn't able to watch any of that stuff. But now it's kind of like that's what their day or their conversations on the phone with their friends are about. Well, did you see Love and Hip Hop with Safari and Eric? And I'm like, y'all are 13. What do y'all know about that? As much energy as y'all putting into these TV shows, these songs that don't make no sense, y'all could be putting that into building your own empire where you're not working for anybody but yourself. You bringing in your own money. You driving whatever car you want to drive. You making your own schedule, and you making money.
Yeah, I think for the boys and the girls, but I think it's all about that quick dollar. And
Yeah.
I would say back in our time, quick dollar was the drug dealers and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Now it's just about put out a terrible song with a good beat.
Yes.
And, and it's sad for the young ladies. It's all about the quick come up. How could I attach myself to this rapper, this YouTube influencer, or whatever the
Hmm.
case
The
is?
OnlyFans, and they know about OnlyFans at 13. I'm like, at 13, I was still playing with baby dolls. My grandmother was strict.
Mhm.
My grandmother is from South Carolina. She was by the book. She had a switch in her purse. She knew everybody. So I was very by the book. And I'm not going to say, once I got older and got into college, of course, I kind of got a little rambunctious because I didn't have that freedom growing up. But I quickly learned that everything that she was protected me from at a young age helped me become who I am today. And you don't have a lot of young women who have that old school grandma
Yeah.
that's on their back. Like, you're going to go to school, you're going to finish your homework before you do anything else. They don't have that. So that's another reason why I've kind of devoted myself to becoming their mentor and
Mhm.
more like a big sister, because with the program, you may start at the age of 10, but you can always come out and reach back out to me at any point, and I'm going to help you. So if you start out with me at, let's say, 15, go through the program, you still have 24/7 contact with me. If you get ready to go on an interview and you're nervous, reach out. Hey, Bri, I don't know what to do. I'm going to help you get through that.
And that's what, yeah, and that's what a lot of these young women need because, like you said, a lot of them, you know, and I don't want to bash the parents, but a lot of the parents are trying to hang out and party just as much
Yeah.
as just as much as their kids,
Yeah.
and they don't understand. The kids want structure as much as they rebel and they fight against us. They want the structure. They want the lead. They want somebody to lead them where they're supposed to go. But a lot of the parents now are just they want to turn up with their kids or they want to turn up more than their kids and just not knowing that you don't want your child to repeat your cycle.
Right.
You want to break that and have them be better. I have three boys, 20, 20, 15, and 9. And I always tell them, I said, no, I said, y'all got to be better than me. And I
Yeah.
don't think I'm doing bad. I didn't grow up in the streets, nothing like that. But I always tell them, say, y'all got to be better than me.
Yeah.
Don't make the same, mistakes or stupid decisions that I did. And I've never been in trouble with the law, nothing like that. But doesn't mean I didn't make a stupid decision here or there.
Right.
So,
I tell my son that all the time. My son is 9. He
mhm.
thinks he's my dad, my boyfriend, my husband. He thinks he's all of the above. And he is like all boy, football. He wants to wrestle, he wants to box. But he has an issue with lying. And I'm like, dude, I saw you. Literally just saw you slap your sister. But she would say, no, I didn't. That wasn't me. And I always try to tell my kids, I don't care what you've done. As long as you could tell me the truth, I can help you through it. If you
Mhm.
lie to me, I don't know how to prepare myself to help you. And I tell the girls that too. If you need someone that you can talk to and just be upfront and honest with no judgment, I'm willing to be that person because they need that. They need someone who's going to be upfront, honest, and no cut cards, pretty much.
Yeah.
You're going to tell me like it is, tell me when I'm right, tell me when I'm wrong, and then we're going to move forward together to figure out how to get out of the situation. So my son is just, he wants to be an entrepreneur. He wants to start his own clothing line. So I've been using, all right, well, you tell me the truth, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna move forward with your business. So I don't just have stuff for the young ladies. My son is like, well, you got a business for girls and you got a son. That doesn't make that doesn't make any sense. I'm like, well, I got something for y'all, but let me focus on the girls. And then, my plan is to alternate between the girls and the boys.
Okay.
Is my program is fixed 6 weeks.
Hmm.
So every week we'll meet twice a week on Zoom for an hour. And then every Saturday we'll come and we'll meet in person for 3 hours to go over everything we discussed, to do different like field trips, take them to different locations where they can see female entrepreneurs. One of my nieces, she is a YouTuber that all the girls love. So she did a video for me, and I just want to let them know that there's people that look just like you that are successful. The things that you are, so amazed at from other young ladies, you can do that too, and you can do it better. They just need that motivation. They just need someone in their ear that's pushing them and letting them know you can do it.
Yeah, because success, unfortunately, to this generation is like you said, loving hip hop and things like that. And I'm like, that's short term success.
Yeah.
Like, I always tell my boys, I'm like, do your research. I was like, yeah, Love and Hip Hop has been on for how long? You have um, return guests or whatever. And I said, if you think about it, I said some of these people are making 1,500, let's say, an episode. I said that sounds good now. I said, but how long are you on set? How long are
Yeah.
you away from your family? And then what happens when your character runs its course?
Right.
You
Or when your character does something on camera and then 20 years later you can't get a job because of something that happened on camera. And that's what I try to tell them. You have these celebrities who, at the point in time where whatever they're doing may sound good, but then when they get older, it's like you can't land a job because it's something you did when you was 19 and 20.
hmm
So and something else. You have to make sure that your reputation is at the forefront of your mind. Don't think for now, think for the future. Because anything that you do right now, it may sound good, but think about how that will look when you get 25 or when you get 40. You're going to look back and like, Dad, I should have done that when I was younger. So I just try to get them to just think about, don't just think for the now, think about for the future. Things that you do now will affect your future. Think about how you want to, reflect on your past.
Yeah, and everything for them is in the moment. For example, like my my middle son was talking to my wife and I. He wanted a tattoo, and I'm like, boy, I'm like, go ahead. I'm like, I have a bunch of tattoos, but I told him, I said, all of my tattoos are upper body tattoos. I said, no one
Mhm.
can see my tattoos unless I show it to them. Because I see a lot of kids now, they go get tattoos on their forearm, on their
On their
neck, on their
face.
face. And I'm just like, you're 16, 17, 18. What are you going to do for the next 30 years? I'm like, who's going to hire you with a Nike check on your face or the kissing lips on your neck, all that stupidness? I'm like, who's going to hire
Right.
you? I'm like, if you can be an entrepreneur, I'm not telling you you're going to fail. But let's be realistic. I'm like, nobody's going to hire you with those silly ass tattoos on your face and stuff.
I tell them that too. With me being in the HR field for over 10 years, I've seen a lot. And I try to help people as far as, because I know they haven't had the background or the guidance. So you can tell those that have had the guidance as to, okay, they know how to go on an interview.
Mhm.
Come with suit tie, the button up shirt for the female, skirt heels. You have some people that just pop up on Zoom like they just woke up out of bed and they're like, yeah, what's up? And I'm like, hey, do you realize that you on the interview? Yeah, what's up? I got your email. Am I gonna get a job or what? Well, let's just tell me. And I try to walk them through. Like, tell me a little bit about yourself. yeah, my name Ray, but they call me Ray Ray, and I got 4 kids, and I just need a job. So it's like you try and you try and you try, and it's just like you just
Throw your
can't
hands
help.
up. Yeah.
It's like I'm not that person that's going to shut you down because I know things happen, life happens to everybody. So I'm that person that's going to try to reset a few times to try to give you the hint, like, hey, okay, we're gonna reset. I've even gave some people like, okay, let's take a 5 minute break, go to the bathroom. I'm going to go grab some water, and we'll come back and we'll try again. Some people get it. Others are just like, did I get the job or what? Because I need to start working tomorrow. And it's kind of like, yeah, they had the tattoos on their face. And you have some that have the tattoos on their face and they're intelligent.
Yeah.
But you're
Definitely.
going to have some employers who are not going to employ you because you have the tattoos on your face. No matter what you have in your brain,
Hmm.
they see you. They see your face first and they're like, no, I don't want this person representing my company. Sad as it may seem, that's just the reality of it. Your first impression is your lasting impression. That's the first and only time you have to impress somebody is the first time that they see you or you open your mouth to speak. And that's what a lot of people fail to realize. No matter what you have in your brain,
Hmm.
once you show up on that camera or you show up to that office and you got food on your clothes or you not presentable, that's gonna always stick in their mind. Even if they do hire you, it's gonna stick in their mind and they're never gonna forget it. So your first impression is the lasting impression. You're never gonna get a chance to redo your first impression.
Yeah, and they need to understand that. And what I want people to understand when they listen to this, there's not to say that tattoos are bad. I said, but you just
Right.
have to understand what you're doing. Because, for example, like a lot of police departments and stuff, you can still get a job with a police
Mm-hmm.
department. You can have a full, sleeve tattoo and all of that. But what they don't realize, if you have tattoos on your neck, your forearm, and all that stuff, some police departments will make you wear the turtleneck and the long sleeves all year round. And I
Yeah.
don't know who the hell wants to run around in the summer with a turtleneck and a long sleeve shirt on and a bulletproof vest. It's
Yeah. A
these.
lot of companies are like that though. They'll hire you, but you have to wear, for instance, I have a tattoo on my wrist.
Mm-hmm.
This was a tattoo that I got when I was young, and I got it's my grandmother's name. She hates tattoos, so I got it because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna soften her up because I want to get a bigger one. So I got this tattoo, and she kind of went off on me. Went to my first job, and I was working in DC somewhere, and they hired me, but they said, you have a tattoo on your wrist, so you're gonna have to wear a band-aid. And I'm thinking, a band-aid? Yeah, we don't want your tattoo to be shown. You either have to wear a band-aid or you have to wear a sweater year round. And that was the first time that it dawned on me that, wow, this little tattoo is going to cause me to be uncomfortable for my tenure here at this job. Then once I got into the HR field, I've seen different departments. They're like, okay, well, you have to wear a collar shirt if you have a tattoo on your neck. They make you wear the collar shirt, or they make you wear the long sleeves, or they'll make you wear band-aid or put makeup on it. That's another thing that they ask you to do. Then there's nothing wrong with tattoos, but you're going to have some companies that's going to ask you for the sake of their company, can you please put makeup on it? Can you please put a band-aid or put a sweater or a turtleneck? Like you said, who wants to wear a turtleneck in 100-degree weather?
And as hot as it's been this summer, I know it's miserable for those that
Yeah.
have to wear the collared shirts and the long sleeves. Um, so with blossoming boss ladies, what is in the next, I want to say 5 years or so? What are your goals for blossoming boss ladies in the next 5 years?
The next 5 years, I'm hoping to be able to have touched a plethora of young women as far as being able to help them and being able to pour all of this knowledge that I have into them and just create a movement. I know I'm pretty small now, but I have so much confidence in my company and my mentorship program that I know that it's going to take off. Just from me posting a few posts that I've posted and, you know, showing some of the things that I've done, people are starting to catch on. I think once I do my first mentorship, which starts on the 9th of September, and
Mm-hmm.
I start posting the things that we're doing, and then the other young ladies start posting, it's going to take off. So my goal is to become worldwide, not just in the DMV, but I'm planning to take this thing across the world, just because every young woman needs it. This is something that we need them to know, because society has fooled us into thinking that we can't be the boss.
Yeah.
No offense, but they have fooled women to think that, okay, the man is going to be the person that's the boss.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go to work, you're going to work for a man. That's not always the case. So I want all young women to know that you can be your own boss. You don't have to punch no clock for nobody. You can create your own, and you can create your own empire to build wealth for yourself and for your children and for your children's children. And a lot of us fail to get that or grasp that because it's not taught.
Mm-hmm.
In our community, it's more so go to school, go to college, land a good job, 9 to 5.
And I
You
think
have
that.
a few that have that entrepreneur mindset from a young child, like my son. He
Mm-hmm.
wants to be an entrepreneur at the age of 9. He already said, I'm not working for anybody. My daughter, the same way. She don't want to work for anybody. She started her own tie-dye company 2 years ago, and it's taken off. And from that, she's like, I don't want to work for nobody. I don't want to go to no office. I don't want to be a 9 to 5. I want to have my own where I can have my own brand. So that's my goal for the next 5 years, is to be able to go worldwide with it.
Oh, no, that's definitely good. That's definitely good. So let me ask you a couple of questions since you have your mentorship program, and then with you being in HR, what are some of the big no-nos that people don't think about? And the reason I ask that is I see a lot of young, not even just teenagers, I'll say 20s, even into their 30s, women with all of these crazy color hair and all this type stuff. Is that how big of a deal is that for you being in HR?
It just depends on the company. Like for me, I know that it doesn't really matter. Um, because as long as you can show me that you can do the job,
Mm-hmm.
one, you have the background, and I have faith that you can get the job done, that doesn't really matter to me.
Okay.
But you have some companies that come to you that you go into an interview and they're going to judge you as soon as you walk through the door. And that's the difference between being an entrepreneur and working a 9 to 5 for somebody. You have to kind of set yourself for somebody else's rules.
Mm-hmm.
Being in HR, we look for certain things as far as on paper, but also when you come into the building or once you come and sit down for that interview, we're looking at your body structure. Like, how are you sitting? How are you speaking? Are you speaking, full sentences? Are you speaking correct English? Are you giving eye contact? Just little things that we look for in HR when we're trying to find that right person. Um, I don't care if your hair is green, blue, purple,
Mm-hmm.
as long as you are presentable. Because you have some people that have nice hair, and it may be blue, maybe purple.
Mm-hmm.
It's just as long as it's presentable. I had someone come on an interview for my own actual company, and I think her hair was like pink, but it was nice. It was flat iron and curled. So the color didn't really, it stood out, but it was like, wow, that looks nice. But
Okay.
it's a difference between being pink and like all over your head, or being pink and looking presentable. So I think it's just all, for me, it's all in how, if it's presentable, if it's maintained, if it looks professional.
So as far as like nails and stuff, and I know everybody has nails now. What's the what's a reasonable what's a reasonable length for the nails? Because I know some people say, "Oh, I got the long nails. I can still type this." But for companies, if you're an entrepreneur, I get it. It's different. But if you're going into corporate America or into the corporate world, period, what is a reasonable length for nails?
For nails, there's colors that some companies just are like a no-no.
Oh wow.
My sister, she actually works for a company that she can only wear, I think, white, nude. She can't wear red. It's like really basic colors that she can wear.
Okay.
And you have some companies that don't care, but for the most part, I always tell my girls that like my nails are too long right now.
Oh wow. Okay.
So my nails are, I would say my nails are too long because they're gonna look at you and say, well, how are you gonna type with those nails? So I would say maybe, I don't know, I would say like maybe here, cut here.
So at your finger length, your
Yeah.
actual nail length. Okay.
Yeah, like an actual nail length. Something that's very professional. If you go to a meeting, you're gonna have to shake people's hands, or you may have to type and write meeting notes,
Mm-hmm.
meeting minutes. So you want to make sure that it's not going to get in the way of your work. But some people, some companies don't like those bright colors like lime green and what's another one? The yellow that everyone likes.
Mm-hmm.
So I would stick to really basic colors unless they tell you otherwise.
Okay. Is that now? Is that because I don't even know how to how to preface or ask this question the right way, but is it, do people argue about they're infringing on my like individuality and things like that? Do you get a lot of that as, in terms of the nails and sometimes the hair?
Not really. You do get a few people that will kind of poke that button, and then once they realize that it ain't gonna go nowhere, they're like, okay, well, I'll just change my color. You get those that kind of will pick at it to see, okay, how far can I go with this?
Mm-hmm.
Can I, create a scene that's gonna make them ease up?
Yeah.
Or once they realize that you're not budging, they'll go and they'll change the color of the nails, or make sure their hair is presentable. But now I'm starting to see a lot of journals that I've been reading and documents that people are not people are against the natural hair.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to see a lot of that because a lot of women and men are, wearing the natural hair look. And a lot of companies that you wouldn't believe have really kind of eased up as far as judging people regarding their hair. So I think that's why, with the purple hair and the nails and things, people aren't sticklers about it anymore, just because people are wearing their natural states, and one wrong comment can lead to a legal battle. So I think that's why people are a lot of companies are kind of just making sure that as long as it's presentable and it looks nice, we're fine with it.
Okay. I mean, that's good to know. So for all of the young ladies that end up hearing this, and even some of the young men that end up hearing this once this airs, take notes. These are things you're gonna have to deal with going out into the corporate world. Um, so what now? To sort of transition over into the other conversation I was telling you about before we get here. So in your if you had to guess or think, deeply about it, what do you think that we can do as a whole, as a society, not necessarily black or white, but as a society to kind of help the kids out, because here in the DMV, you had the two young women that tried to carjack the Uber driver and he ended up
Oh.
dying, and you had the other incident with I think it was two young women and a young man down by the I think the Navy Yard, and they were trying to carjack somebody else. So what do you think that we as a society or community can do to sort of help you know help them find another path, because the girls that end up killing the Uber driver, they were what, 13 and 15. So what do you think that we could do?
I just say be there for them. I mean, a lot of them just want someone, or just want someone that they know is going to be there and be consistent. That's the key. Being there for someone and being consistent with being there for them are two different things. A lot of times I have a lot of young women that I work with. They call me at any point in time on this phone. If I
Hmm.
can't answer, I'll shoot them a quick text and say, "Hey, are you okay?" But just knowing that they have somebody that they can reach out to, that they can trust, and that they know is gonna, be there for them
Hmm.
consistently, is, I think that will go a long way. Just letting them know that it's okay. It doesn't matter what you did yesterday. It matters how you plan to transition today and moving forward. And that's what I tell my young women that join my program. It doesn't matter what you did yesterday. That's in the past. Your past doesn't matter. We're going to use the past to build stepping stones to get to your empire, to build your empire. And once they believe or they see someone that is reaching out to them that they know and feel deep down inside that believes in them, they're going to want to change. They're going to want to reach out to you. You got to be consistent. If they're calling you, you can't say, "Dad, why she keep calling me?" Or, I'm just gonna end the call. Or, "Man, I just talked to her yesterday and I'm telling her the same thing." It doesn't matter if you're telling them the same thing. Maybe they need to hear it one more time.
Hmm.
Maybe they need you to motivate them. Maybe you just need to pick them up and take them somewhere. A lot of them don't have that role model at home. And I had to realize that some of them don't have the parents that they wish they had, sad to say.
Yeah.
Some of them don't have the parent that's going to say, "Okay, well, such and such, I need you to buckle down and do your schoolwork." You got some parents that say, "You don't gotta do no, you're not about to do no schoolwork. I need you to run down the street to make this move for me."
Hmm.
So if you have parents that's telling you, "Forget school, forget this, I need you to go run and make this move for me," you're gonna be messed up in the head because it's like, wow, I want to do better, but my own mother or my own guardian rather have me make this move down the street than sit here and do my work or be successful. So I would say just pouring into them, even if they don't want to hear it. You're gonna have some that are hard to get across to.
Hmm.
They have this hard shell, but you just gotta keep beating it down. Not being a nuisance, not being mean, just being consistently nice. And then they're gonna start to break down and say, "Wow." Someone told me, "You just nice. Why you so nice?" I said, "Because why you want me to be mean to you?
Yeah.
But you just so nice. Like, I'm being mean to you and you not gonna change me. You're not gonna block my blessing. So because you being rude to me, I'm gonna continue to be the same person that I am, that I've taught to be. I was taught to be. Now, whether want to take it and run with it, or you want to be my friend or allow me to help you and we get through this thing together." And that's just how I approach them. I let them know I'm no better than you. I'm a woman. I grew up with, my mom. I didn't have my dad. So I had issues too. So I let them know I'm not perfect.
Hmm.
I went through a lot of shit to get to where I am right now.
Yeah.
And everyone's background is not perfect, but you got to use that past to use them as stepping stones to build your empire. And once I break it down to them and tell them, when I'm 30, 32, I just graduated college.
Hmm.
They're like, "What? You're how old?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know, look it." But it took me a while. I got to college and I went to class for the first semester, maybe 3 or 4 times because I went to Howard, party, school. Told y'all my grandmother, she didn't let me do nothing. It was school, come home, we're gonna go to the mall, come back, and we're going to sleep. So once I got a taste of college life, I went to every party. I stayed in a co-ed dorm. I was a bowler. I got a bowling scholarship.
Hmm.
Stayed in a co-ed dorm. The football players taught me how to drink. So I was like their secret weapon. They was like, "All right, well, come on, Bree. I bet you she could drink you under the table." And I'm just sitting there like, "No, I can't." Put me up to the table, make a quick $300 easy. But that fast money, I was like, "Okay, I'm making money. I don't need to be in school." So I was making money like side bets. I got a job at like the bank. And I was like, "I don't need school." So I took some years off. Then I started realizing I'm working at the bank. I have a degree. Every job that I'm applying for, you have to have a degree.
Yeah.
So I kept hitting my highest point that I could reach. And I'm like, "You need to go back to school." Decided to go back to school, got my degree. Now doors are opening up. So once I open up and tell them the story about myself,
Hmm.
they're like, "What? You did what?" And I'm like, "Yeah." But I had to use that. Everything that I went through, I think it's built me to be the woman that I am today.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
built me and it's showing me you need to give back to the young women because you have so many young women that are like you or worse off,
Hmm.
than you were. You can make a difference in their lives. So I had to go through it to get to where I'm at.
Nah, but I mean, it's all part of your journey and all part of your story. And like I say, it's relatable to so many kids, and they need to hear that. And I get this. That's funny. I get the same thing too. I get kids ask me, "Well, why are you so nice? Why are you always smiling?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"Shit, I don't have no reason to be upset. I woke up this morning.
Yes.
I, you
So
know,
many people tell me that. Even my daughter, she's like, "You always smile," and I'm like, "Why? Why?" She's like, "Every time we go to the store, you always talking to somebody." I'm like, "Because you never know. Your hello can be the breaking point that someone needs from killing themselves, or
yeah,
your smile can be that one smile that they needed from going to, harm somebody else.
hmm,
So it doesn't kill you to say hello or smile at somebody. It's not going to hurt you. It may help them because you never know what the next person is going through. You never know if somebody left an abusive home this morning
yeah,
and it took you to smile, even say, "How you doing today?" They may not be doing good. Everyone's not going to give you the blanket answer, "I'm fine." You're going to get some people that say, "Well, I'm doing horrible." And I've gotten that several times. And I take the time to, I may not know them from Adam, but I take the time to listen and just give them a little bit of motivation because everyone needs motivation.
yeah. And they need that hug and pick me up. But back to something else that you were saying, like just to and what you were just saying, just to help out the kids and stuff. But how do we? It's so hard to do that now. I know I'm 42, so I'm a little older than you, but I know at least when I was coming up, you would have the people, that village mentality, like it takes a village. But now it's so hard when you have so many you know, weirdos, the R. Kellys, the Jeffrey
Yeah.
Epsteins, and it's like you can't, you even got some coaches, basketball, football, doesn't matter, cheerleading, gymnastics. You have all of these people, and I know I fall into this where I don't trust anybody. If I can't, if I'm not there coaching my kids, or if I'm not there watching, my kids can't go and they can't play. So how do we? Do you think that there's a way that we can? I know it's never going to go back to how it was when we were coming up, but do
Mm-hmm.
you think that there's a way that we can get back there to sort of trust people to allow them to help us with our kids?
I honestly, I'm going to say, I don't know, I'm kind of torn.
Hmm.
Only because with my kids, they don't go nowhere. They
Yeah.
can go to my grandmother's house. I got tons of sisters, and like some of my best friends, we're like this. And I know that they're going to beat their ass just like I'm going to beat their ass. And they're going to make sure
Hmm.
that, they're safe. But as far as going to like sleepovers, and my daughter can go to her best friend Zoe's house, and that's it. That's because her mom and I are like this.
Hmm.
But it's just like I think society has scared us because of so many crazy people that are in the world that prey on children. So
Yeah.
I don't think that we can get back to, us being able to just let them go to their coach's house.
Hmm.
No. No. um, Even riding with the coaches to different games.
Nope.
No.
Hmm.
I just don't think we can get back to that because we've been exposed to so much as as parents, even as children. Like we've been, and they've been exposed to so much. So I don't think we can ever get back to the point where we're just free with our kids just because the world is crazy. The world is it's very crazy. And even with my program, I know someone has sent me a message and they're like, "Well, how the girls going to get to the different locations that you guys go to on Saturdays?" If you all want to come, and I told them if the parents want to come tag along, by all means, I'm not opposed to that. But we will have, different vehicles that we can use to transport the young ladies to the different venues. But I'm open to having parents there just because I'm a parent myself, and
Hmm.
I know having a daughter and a son, you don't for 3 hours I'm away from my child, and I'm just leaving them with you. No, I either want to be there, or he or she has to have access to their phone where they can FaceTime me or something. So I don't think we can ever get back to that point where we just letting our kids freely go. They can't even stay outside for a long time. Mine can't. I'm peeking out the window. I'm like, y'all stay in the front yard. Don't go to the side. Don't go anywhere but the front where I can see you. Whereas when we were younger, as long as you back before the street lights on, you're good.
Yep. Yeah.
So I don't think we can ever get back to that point just because the world is crazy.
And it sucks because it's, people talking about, oh, it's almost like you're not, yeah, it's almost like you're smothering your kids, because I'm the same way. My kids they don't go anywhere. I'm like, yeah, I want to go here, I want to stay tonight. Nah, that's not gonna happen. And I have nah. I'm like, because it's so bad, because my 9-year old, he's like my wife. He's the life of the party. He's just friendly and all this other stuff. Oh, I want to have kids stay over, but no, because I'm like,
Yeah.
every
I'm
once in a
very
while,
picky on that too. Like I'm like,
it's.
yeah, if I don't know the parent and we're not like this,
Mhm.
because you don't kids these days, you don't know what they've been exposed to.
Yeah.
Um, they may go home and say, I try to do something to them. And it's like, wait a minute, y'all was in the family room the whole time. And
Um,
so, and same thing, if I send my kid to somebody's house, I'm not even gonna be able to sleep because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be texting my kid all the time.
mhm.
Are you okay? What's going on? They're not even gonna have fun. I'm not gonna be able to sleep. So we just gonna go ahead and dead that. You're gonna
Yeah.
stay home. You could FaceTime your friends. You could even get on your Xbox and play them on the game. That's enough talking. That's all the talking that you need.
And that's all y'all gonna do anyway, is play games.
Right.
So
And
it's,
then they gonna argue and get into a fight, and y'all gonna do all that on the phone. So just go ahead and live your dream out on the phone.
but okay, so back to the boss lady, blossoming boss ladies. So once once everything opens back up, will you do in person, or will you still continue to do the Zoom? Because I know you said, that you want to branch out, expand throughout the country, throughout the world, or whatever. So as far as, the DMV goes, will you do in person once, whenever all of these different variants finish running rampant throughout this country? Will you do in person, or will you continue to do Zoom?
I think I'll do both. As of right now, I'm doing two Zoom meetings during the week, and then every Saturday for those that have picked. So I have two different mentorships. I have one where it's a group. So there's a group of six young ladies that'll, grow through this thing together. And then there's one that, if you want to have a one-on-one with myself, we'll meet on Sundays.
Okay.
So we'll meet twice during the week through Zoom just to discuss the different lessons that I have to teach, and then on Saturdays for the group, we'll meet up, we'll go over everything, and then we'll go on different field trips. On Sunday, that's more of the person that wants to do the one on one, because you have some kids that don't really like to be around other kids,
Hmm.
but they still need your assistance. So I have that set for them that, this just want to have a one on one with myself. So on Sundays, we'll meet in person, we'll go over everything we need to go over. And then, I'll take them to different locations or venues to show them different things or different avenues that they can take to be successful. So I'm thinking as time progresses, maybe I want to do both because you have some people that don't have the transportation. Some
Okay.
parents can't get their children to certain areas. But I think I'm going to try to do a mixture of both just to meet the needs of everybody.
Okay. So trying to think, well, come up with a good question before we wrap up. Cause see, you were surprised that, we're almost at an hour.
Look at that. I didn't even look at the time.
Um, so what? Excuse me. So with everything that you do, and I ask all my guests this: what do you do for you? How do you recharge? What is your me time and stuff? What does that consist of?
I love to cook. So for me, I grew up, my grandmother, like again, she was from South Carolina. So she taught me how to cook, how to bake. So for me to recharge, what I do is I just cook. I love to cook and bake. And also, again, we have a boat and jet ski rental. So I'll just go out on the boat and just relax. There's nothing more relaxing than just being able to get out on the water and just let your hair down, hit a few waves, get on the jet skis, take out some anger on the jet skis, and just relax.
There's nothing wrong with that at all, because a lot of people, especially doing the entrepreneurship type things, they put their all into it and then forget that they need that me time to recharge. Just
Yeah.
so, because I always tell people, I say, if you pour so much of yourself into other people, what do you have
Yeah.
left for yourself? You
Yeah.
can pour, but you can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly. You still got to take that time for yourself to make sure that you're okay. And that's what a lot of people tell me. It's like, when do you have time to make sure that you're okay? Oh, I'm gonna make sure that Bree's okay. That's one thing I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure that I'm okay. Because again, like you said, you can't be a tarnished individual trying to pour into someone else.
Hmm.
You can't. Negatives. It's too negatives. It's not going to work. So you got to make sure that you are fully charged yourself and you're in a good headspace where you can positively pour into someone else.
So and we'll wrap up. I think probably one, two more questions. So what has the support been like? From friends and family.
It's been really amazing. Like my brother, he reached out to me 2 or 3 weeks ago. My niece is a rapper. She's an up and coming rapper,
Hmm.
and she remixes songs. She did a Cardi B song, and she writes her own songs. Her name is K Bay. And he reached out to me. He was like, you just pour into so many people. And he's like, you set it up to where it looks so easy. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? He's like, well, you always pushing your niche. You don't have to. I said, I know I don't have to, but for me, I want everybody to win. Whether it's my niece, whether it's my brother, whether it's whoever, I feel like it's enough room for everybody to win.
Yeah.
So you have those people that are looking up to you, like looking up to me. I don't even know it.
Mm.
But once they reach out to me and they tell me, well, I just see you doing this, I see you doing that, it just boosts me a little bit more because I'm like, I'm not even doing it for the cloud.
Hmm.
I'm doing it so that everybody can win. It's enough money for everybody to win. And I think that's what a lot of people fail to realize. They're so busy with their hand out or hand closed that they don't see that it's enough room and it's enough money for everybody to win and to ultimately be successful.
Yeah, and that's very, very key. Like I said, it's not networking is a big thing. Everybody wants to do it themselves, and I always tell people, I think to me, one of the worst words in the English language is independent, because it's a nobody does anything by themselves.
Yeah. It's about networking. And I tell the girls, sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Hmm.
A lot of people may get a position because of who they know.
Not even
And
that
in
they
one of my
qualify.
bios, I did put in there that I got my job working working at Howard from me knowing somebody. Of course, I knew what I was doing. I knew the work, but because I had someone that's saying, you know what, I'm a vouch for her.
Hmm.
Gave the resume to their supervisor, and I went from there. In my story, I tell you, I wasn't more than just a smile and batting my eyes, and I was like, all right, I should be in there. But after I realized that that's only going to work for a certain amount of times or certain, setting,
Hmm.
then I had to realize, okay, I got the job. How am I going to keep it now?
Yeah.
This person put their name on the line for me. Now, how am I going to keep it to make a name for myself?
Hmm.
So I tell them it's not, it is what you know, but in the real world, it's who you know.
Yeah.
So networking is key. Networking is definitely key because it don't turn your nose up at people. Um, you never know. Just because somebody may have 100 followers, that don't mean that they can't say one word to somebody and boost you just like that. So you
Yeah.
get a lot of people that gets hooked on this Instagram. Oh, they got 300 and something K followers and you only got 2,000. I ain't paid for none of my followers. You have some people that pay for followers. You have some people that have 200 followers or 2,000 followers, but their followers is a network of boss, like boss people. I was
Hmm.
going to say something else, but I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it PG. It's full of bosses. You never know who you are sitting next to. You never know who you're speaking to. So
Yeah.
I always tell them, don't ever turn your nose up at nobody because who the person that's wearing the Fendi, the Gucci, and the Prada, they may be the only set of nice clothes they got, but the person that's wearing the rundown clothes,
Hmm.
they may be a millionaire. You turning your nose up at them, and trying to get with this person, you got your priorities are messed up.
Yeah, and I think what they need to realize too is that, like you said, they can have 300K followers. You can have 2,000 followers. But all you got to do is look at the likes. You got 300K followers, but you're only getting like 50 likes.
Exactly.
Uh, the math isn't
It's
adding up
not
to me.
it's quality over quantity, and I teach them that. I'm like, it's not always how many people you have following you. It's the quality of people.
Hmm.
You may have all these spammers following you.
Yeah,
That's not going to get your business to where you need to go.
no, because the spammers aren't spending money.
Exactly. You're gonna have people that's sitting there watching your stuff and gonna try to take your idea and spin it and make something to become your competition. And that's what I always tell them. I'm like, it's good to have friends, but you gotta make sure your friends are your supporters. You gotta make sure that they're not leeches. That's what you want to stay away from. They're like, well, I've been best friends with this person for years.
That's always your worst and first enemy.
Exactly. If there's always somebody with their hand out,
Hmm.
that's how you know you got to cut that. And it's hard to cut friendships like that where someone's been with you for 15 years, but once you start to replay in your mind, damn, how many times I can count on my hand how many times this person has called to make sure I'm good. And those are things you got to think about, especially when you are trying to become successful and become an entrepreneur. You need to think about, okay, how many times has this person been there for me? Or am I always the person reaching out like,
Hmm.
hey, are you okay? And heard from you in a month. If I ain't heard from somebody in 3 months,
It's over.
the phone works two ways.
Hmm.
And we have our phones in our hand entirely too many times throughout a day for you not to pick up the phone and text me
Yeah,
or even call me or even, something, email, some type of smoke signal, something to make sure I'm okay. If I'm always checking on you, something's not right.
exactly. So, to wrap it up, I don't want to take up too much more of your time on this Sunday. But so how can the people get in contact with you and Blossoming Boss Ladies?
You can definitely follow us on Instagram at blossomingbossladies, or you can email us at blossomingboss.ladies@gmail.com. My Instagram, personally Instagram is Ming, MING underscore Bri. Send us a DM, follow us, ask questions. I'm always available. Again, I always got this phone in my hand, so I'm always checking it or doing something. So if you have some young ladies that are in your life that may be between the ages of 10 and I even put it all the way up to 21 because we have some older young women
Hmm.
who don't have what they need or the tools that they need to succeed. So if you have someone in your life that you feel like can benefit from my program, definitely send them my way, reach out. I'll be happy to assist and create some boss ladies.
And then the other thing, and then as far as if they want to donate any supplies or anything for Haiti, what how can they do that also?
Same thing. Reach out to me via email, and we'll set something up. Let me know if you have some things you wanted to donate. I'm a big person that goes out and will meet you to get the donations, and I'll send you all pictures of them in it. I'm really big on when I take things from people to send off for a better cause.
Hmm.
I always try to get pictures and try to get things to show, okay, this is what you did. Because a lot of people need that. Some people need to say, okay, I helped this person. This is somebody that I was able to help or was able to, reach. Even with my kids, they send toys all the time. They'll
Hmm.
send a picture with their toys and then they'll send us a picture back on WhatsApp. So that's kind of like, a way for them to see, wow, I did that.
Yep.
So reach out to me on Instagram or through email, and I'll be happy to reach out and meet up with you all.
All right. Well, again, I do really do appreciate you coming out, and and spending some time with me on this Sunday, and thank you for allowing me to be your first podcast interview.
Thank you. No problem. Thank you for having me. Like I said, I told my boyfriend, I was like, I got to get on a call. He's like, are you nervous? I'm like, a little bit. But I had a great time. I enjoyed myself. And if you all ever need anything, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help. If you have some young ladies or young men, I got something for the young men coming up. I didn't forget about them. My son will kill me if he sees this and say I didn't, I didn't push the young fellas. So I'm gonna have something for them coming out as well because they need help too. I
Yeah.
mean, they're just like our women, and for them, I always tell them that you already have two things against you. You black and you are a male.
Hmm.
So you already coming up in the game with two negatives. So we got to change those negatives into positives for them.
So, but yeah, I really do appreciate it. And this episode, I will let you know before I put out the episode. Probably, yeah, I'm going to work on it tonight. So it'll more than likely, no, it will be out this Wednesday coming.
Okay.
So,
All
but I
right.
will
Make
let
sure
you know.
look. Make sure I don't look too crazy. Too
No,
crazy.
not at all, not at all. But again, thank you, Miss Bree, for stopping by and chatting with We Need to Talk 23. And we will be in touch soon about the stuff for Haiti and for anything else.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you.
All right.
All
Bye.
right. Bye bye.